Greetings and welcome to yet another community news video, bringing you the latest headlines, major releases, project updates, and general release stats for the Morrowind modding community. And today we're going to be taking a look back at the major headlines from January and February 2019. And needless to say, a lot has happened since the start of 2019. There's a ton of new and ambitious projects on the horizon, a lot of major mod updates, tons of new mods, and well, quite a few old-timers resurfacing for the first time in really years. But as always, you'll find a full list of headlines, timestamps, and project links down below. And before we get started here, it's worth noting that, our 5th annual Modathon, modding competition, is going to be starting up again here on May 1st. There's going to be a ton of stuff going on in May, and of course, we'll have more details about that coming up in the next few weeks. But anyway, we're going to, get started here by taking a look at the overall mod release totals for January and February 2019. Overall, about 71 new mods were released in January, along with about 46 new mods in February. That's a record high for January as far as, our records are, concerned, which admittedly, only goes back to about 2014, vastly surpassing the 41 mods released in January 2016, the 47 mods released in 2017, and the 50 mods released in 2018. On the other hand, though, February represents a 4-year low for the community, and in comparison, 48 mods were released in February 2016, 56 in 2017, and 49 in 2018. That said, it isn't a massive drop by, any means, and with any luck, new mod releases will pick up again in March, and, since we are kind of late with this video, I can actually go ahead and say that mod releases were actually way up in March, and overall we've had the best, first quarter results, for the start of the year since we started recording these sort of things back in 2014. But we'll cover more of that in the, next community news video, which will be coming out sometime in May. But anyway, moving on, let's take a look at the return of the old-timers, and for January and February, we had a handful of old modding legends and veterans return to the community, including Superstar, who wasn't really gone so much as she took a bit of a hiatus after her hard drive, died a couple of years ago, and she's now reportedly back at work on Uber's Legacy, which has a pretty massive update coming out sometime in the distant future. The returning old-timers include the legendary Connery, famed for his high-quality texture replaces. He actually left the community back in around 2012, partly due to the fallout of the whole, Morrowind 2011 fiasco, but that's of course, ancient history. But anyway, he popped up randomly in the Morrowind modding community Discord server back in January. He didn't stick around for very long, but either way, it's great to know that he's, at least still around. And who knows, maybe he'll get back into Morrowind modding. Also returning is Master Sam, who released his first new mod since really about 2012, of the release of Malagmar X, which is already, I would argue, the best Malagmar expansion mod outside of, well, really the Outlander project, and will hopefully be updated in the future with, a few new quests and some just a minor polishing here and there. And another returning old-timer is Dan T, who is perhaps not as well known now as back in the day, but he's the original author behind The Scourge of the Lich Father, which was one of our top 10 quest mods for Morrowind, and was originally released as 2 separate mods back circa 2004 through 2005 or 2006, I forget which. And in any event, he's re-uploaded Scourge of the Lich Father onto the Nexus for easy access, and who knows, maybe he'll stick around and make some new mods. One can only hope. Now, finally, this is actually from back in December, but Apel, best known for their Fire, Rain, and Zura's Coast replaces, also returned to the community back in late December, showing up on Valti's Shivering Isles Discord server. And needless to say, it's really exciting to see all these old-timers returning, and hopefully this can only mean more great things for the community going into the future. Now, next up, we're going to take a look at some of the more just notable new mod releases from back in January and February, which included a number of new and exciting developments for the community, Perhaps foremost among those is the release of a new groundcover mod by Rytelier, the first new groundcover mod really in years, including support for the Tamriel mainland with animated grass for the Old Ebonheart and Anthurian regions. This is a pretty big deal, since outside of Vid's groundcover mod and Aussie's groundcover, there isn't really a whole lot of variety for animated grass when it comes to Morrowind, and this is a great alternative with some just excellent visuals to beef up your game, and with unparalleled Tamriel support, it just really stands out among the groundcover mods for just how much it adds to a modded game. And another notable new mod release from back in January is the new gameplay mod, QuickLoot by Mord, a revolutionary new mod that ports the QuickLoot feature from Fallout 4 to Morrowind, making looting vastly easier and really saving a ton of time from having to manually open up each container menu in order to loot items. We've already showcased this mod as our mod of the month for January 2019, and there's almost no question that this will, probably end up as one of our mods of the year 2019. It's just an incredibly easy to use and convenient feature to just add to your game here. And one other just a notable new mod release that we should probably mention here, if only because most people might have overlooked it, is a new Landmass Mod by JMK, adding a new island to the game, complete with new quests and a business venture that you can invest in. And this is a fairly typical JMK mod that packs a lot of content, though it might not be to, everyone's taste. Still, it's worth checking out, and it was actually released just this past February. But let's just move on to our next segment here, taking a look at all the just new projects that have, been announced back in January and February of 2019. First up, and perhaps most notably, is the start of, yet another unique landscapes-inspired modding project to, overhaul and enhance the landscapes of Morrowind. This new project series, being developed by Corsair and Ramiros, is starting with the Bitter Coast, adding some better visuals to the Bitter Coast region, as well as new dungeons, industries for the local inhabitants, and just tons of cool new locations to visit here. And anyway, you can follow progress on this rather massive project over on the Morrowind Community Discord server. And while this project does not have a dedicated channel just yet, new screenshots are posted occasionally in the Showcase channel. And anyway, just moving on, another new project is a new modding project from London Rook, who is once again streaming Morrowind content, and more importantly, doing his Outlander stream. He's already started streaming the creation of a new Outlander associated mod, which was supposed to be built in a single day, but has now been rescheduled to be released sometime in 2090, after the original scope of building a house mod turned into building a massive city expansion, and then turned into overhauling the entire Cascade Isles region, which is just yet another example of feature creep in action. But I'm sure we'll, see it released on the Nexus someday, in the distant future, the year 2090. And anyway, one last new project I'd like to just highlight here is a new town mod by Queen Lenara, a relatively new modder who's working on a new Velothi town in the Malaga-Mur region. This already looks like just a beautiful and epic little addition to the game here, and it's one of just a number of new modding projects by Queen Lenara, all of which look just, rather interesting. And of course, you can follow progress on these mods again over on the Morrowind Community Discord server. But anyway, moving on to our next segment, we're going to take a look at some of the just major product updates from February and January 2019, starting with Tamriel. And not only has the last couple of months seen some, exciting new developments with this just massive province mod, but also TR has released plans for the likely release schedule for 2019 and 2020. The Halalu 3rd region, which is really the rest of the Anthurian region, will be released later this year, probably sometime in the summer or early autumn. This will be followed by the release of the Rothrorian and Tormund Ashlands in 2020. But talking about new developments, while we don't actually have any video footage of this, Nimin has been working on a new overhaul of Kragan Mall, which is honestly just pretty awesome looking. You'll find some screenshots of the new city design over on Tamriel's Discord server. And next up, Skyrim, Home of the Nords, has plans to release Dragonstar this year, of interior and exterior development pretty much finished at this point, and the only thing really remaining to do is quest development. So a 2019 release seems pretty likely at this point. Behind the scenes though, development has moved on to the town of Dragonbridge in northwestern Skyrim, and the city of Markarth has had a slight redesign, with some new Nordic walls and more settled outskirts. But anyway, one other major report to mention here. Development on OpenMW has just really taken off this year, and by the time this video airs, OpenMW 0.45 will have likely been released. There's been quite a few new things with OpenMW, but first and foremost, Shadows will be making a comeback in the near future, and compatibility for mods like Glow in the Dark, one of our mods of the year, 2018, and other popular mods will soon be possible in either OpenMW 0.45 or some other future release. And on the TES3MP front, they're now officially a partner with OpenMW, which means the project will eventually be merged into OpenMW, though there's no official date on that yet. And in the meantime, TES3MP will soon be available on macOS. And more news regarding, both of these projects can of course be found over on the OpenMW website and Discord. And in other news, Fablewind has updated with the release of the Rook Ridge region, originally from Fable 2. And you can now access this new region from the town of Oakfield, and it includes some just really beautiful and detailed landscapes, courtesy of Shadow's just excellent exterior designs, which of course, includes a lot of verticality. You'll find abandoned mines, ancient castle keeps, and lost and wrecked ships along the mountains and shorelines of Rook Ridge. It's definitely worth, just checking out for yourself here. And also, I'd like to note some new developments with Ashfall, the new survival mod by Murlord, which will likely be conveniently released during this year's modathon. A lot of progress has been made on this mod recently, with a finished UI, so you'll now see various survival elements like hunger, thirst, and temperature on the Morrowind UI. Heat will also now be a bit of an issue, and there's a dozen other just little immersion details that add a ton of cool features here. Danae recently did a video showcase breaking down just some of what you'll see in Ashfall, and I'd really just recommend checking out her video. And now, finally, Morrowind Rebirth has also posted a few new updates with the 5.0 beta release, which has been updated a couple of times in just the past couple months here. Transmaster has just about finished adding in a new sort of realtor system to the game, with a new realtor's office that you can find in Ebonheart, where you can buy one, or I guess several different player homes that are, just located in various cities and towns across Morrowind. And also included in these updates is a ton of new items and new visual additions, like new varieties of trees for the Ascane Isles region, and just a lot more. And as always, you can find out more about what's going on with Morrowind Rebirth from, their Discord server. New progress is posted on a fairly regular basis, and of course, there's a ton of screenshots on there, and you can find a link to that down below. And for our last news segment today, I'd like to reintroduce community shoutouts. Where we give a shoutout to other Morrowind YouTubers and streamers that you should definitely check out. First up, Patawi has started a new Let's Play series, which honestly looks pretty good, and you'll find a link to that down below. And also, as I mentioned before, London Rook is once again streaming Outlander, and if you just want to see a mod built from the ground up, you should definitely check that out, and of course you'll find a link to both his Twitch and YouTube channels down below. And finally, as always, I'd like to just give a shout out to Danae. She's been doing a lot of mod reviews and showcases recently, covering just a lot of our own mods that we've missed over the years. So I'd really just highly recommend checking out her channel if you're, looking at for more content to watch here. And, well, I think that's really just about everything. Again, there were just a ton of major news headlines for February and January 2019. And there's just a lot going on in the community right now. But of course, you can find links to all that down below, so until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.